So the role of a technical commissaire at this event is to ensure all the bikes are compliant with the regulations before they go to the start line. So that means generally in an hour and a half or so before the scheduled start time, the bike will be brought to my tent on the other side of this stage here for a pre-check, and then 15 minutes prior to the actual start, they need to have the bike for a final check. So if they do need to make any adjustments, we get them to fix that, recheck it, and then as the final race check just before the start. The first tenet in the regulations is the primacy of man over machine. So it's to ensure that it's essentially a fair playing field, and also needs to be, the regulations are based around safety and what's a safe position to sit on the bike where they can have maximum control, and that's what I need to check. In the bike check area, I've got a new jig from the UCI, which is a laser machine, so it's very, very, very accurate, and it has a digital screen that indicates the actual dimensions rather than just saying it's too long. We can actually say it's too long by 11 millimetres or 15 or whatever, so the mechanic has actual information to go back and repair the bike. The bike fitting jig was first used in the Giro d'Italia in 2022, so it's quite new. Prior to that, we used a mechanical jig that was much larger, heavier, took longer to set up. It was about a half-hour setup for the jig. It was often a challenge, but this new jig, which is laser, it has 3 components that need to be assembled. So yesterday I did it in 2.5 minutes, so it's quite quick to set up. And the accuracy with the laser, providing you establish the datum point correctly, everything is perfect, so it's really accurate. It stops any conflict or argument with mechanics because they can see the screen and it says that what the dimension is. They all know what the dimensions need to be, and if they don't, we can soon tell them. We have a scanner to scan for technological fraud, which is to do with motors. It's essentially an iPad that has a special app within it and a special case surrounding it, and it establishes a magnetic field, and we scan the bike in the areas where a motor could be used, so in the wheels and then within the frame. And if something is detected within the frame, the iPad indicates that on the graph. Those results are sent by email directly to the UCI each day, but also at this event, because it's a World Championship, we also have an X-ray machine here. So any bikes that I find at the start that have a potentially high reading for whatever reason, and it may be to do with electronic wiring for gears, or there's some brands of bikes that might have some fibre within the layup of the carbon fibre, I notify the X-ray operator, which is near the finish line, and those bikes get X-rayed after the finish, along with the place getters. So we just need to make sure that, first of all, the results are correct and the winners have not had any outside assistance. Also for the junior categories, from under 15s, under 17s, under 19s, they all have different gear ratios that they're permitted to use based on their physical ability and their size and physical development. So the under 19s have a gear restriction of 7.93 metres, which means the bike, with one revolution, the pedals will travel 7.93 metres. And once they're out of the under 19 category, then they're free to use any gearing they wish. Well, you need to know all the regulations, and also interpersonal skills is important too. So you need to be kind and polite in your rejection, but say, I'm sorry, but, rather than just say, go away, it's not right. So it's a matter of knowing the regulations, knowing why the regulations are there, and being able to explain that this is a World Championship, but we do have quite a few nations or people that's maybe their first time, or they're from a nation that doesn't do a lot of racing. So it's important not only to just enforce the regulations, but also educate a little bit as well.